Hi, my name is Mallory Whitfield, and I am a presenter once again this year at Craftcation Business and Makers Conference. If you're a first timer, or if you've been before and you just want to learn some other tips and tricks for attending the conference, listen up. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a few things. Tips for eating, drinking, food and snacks, tips for packing, and tips for meeting people and making the most out of your conference experience. Here we go. This is my fourth year at Craftcation Conference, and this is one of my favorite conferences to attend. I come back year after year to teach and present and share and just hang out because really this community is frigging amazing. So even though I go to a lot of conferences, including Craftcation, I do public speaking. So I go to conferences all the time, as well as other networking events. I realize that for some of you, this might be not only your first Craftcation, but maybe your first conference. And I get that that can feel totally intimidating, right? Like you don't know what's gonna happen and there's so much and the schedule is so jam-packed with tons of fun stuff that it might feel overwhelming. So I wanted to make this video to share some tips. First off, a little bit about the events that I'm going to be doing this year. So I'm doing a lot of events this year. You will hopefully join me at drag karaoke. Here are some photos of me in various drag outfits. Now, I don't know which outfit I'm bringing this year yet. I haven't decided what I'm packing, so not sure what to tell you. It's gonna be a surprise. I'm also hosting the Saturday night dance party, which has a jungle theme this year. Costumes for these sorts of events, totally encouraged, but not necessary, right? If you've checked out Nicole Stevenson's 2 recent videos that walk you through how to register for the events and tell you a little bit more about the events, she also reiterates this. So Nicole is the CEO and co-founder of Craftcation and Dear Handmade Life. And she's got really great videos if you haven't checked those out already. But Craftcation is totally come as you are. So if you feel comfortable in jeans and a t-shirt, if you feel comfortable in your pajamas, totally fine. If you feel comfortable dressing up and wearing heels, also totally fine. Be aware, there tends to be a lot of walking both within the Marriott, the host hotel, as well as lots of other events around downtown Ventura, and it's a beach town, so keep that in mind. You might want to be comfortable. So I'm also going to be hosting a workshop on Wednesday called Imposter No More, Developing Self-Compassion and Authenticity. I hope you'll join me. I think there's also a workshop for first timers the same day, so totally understand if you want to hit that up instead. And I'll be on a couple of panels as well. And even if you can't make it to any of my events, please stop by, say hi. I would love to meet you all. So as far as tips go for first timers, so one of the things that people have questions about is food and snacks and dietary concerns. The registration is already open for the meals that are included with Craftcation. Nicole shared more info about that. You can find that info in the emails they're sending out in the private Facebook group and on the website. But other than that, there's also certain times when you're responsible for your own meals. So some options are the Marriott, the host hotel, does have a restaurant and bar on site. Last year, it got a little busy in there because there's a lot of us and we all tend to want to eat at the same time. So if you don't want to wait, or if you want something cheaper, right? Because those hotel restaurants can often be a little spendy. There's a lot of great options nearby. There is an In-N-Out burger literally across the street from the Marriott. There's also a few restaurants, if you turn right out of the entrance to the Marriott, there's a few places. So there's a Denny's and a McDonald's and a gas station that has a Subway sandwich shop in it about a block away. I've been to all of those places, totally great if you just want something quick and easy from one of those spots. There's also a grocery store it's about a 12-minute walk, or if you have a car, like a 3-minute car ride. So same thing, if you turn right out of the Marriott, you go down there, it's a Vaughn's grocery store, and they have plenty of food and snacks that you can get and bring back to your room, keep in one of your hotel refrigerators or whatever. And they also have a good wine and beer selection, if I remember right too. So I live in New Orleans, so drinking at conferences is something, I know a few tips and tricks. So drinks at a hotel bar can often get expensive if you want to go that route and go to the Marriott. If you're a drinker, you can totally do that. But I also, if I plan on drinking some wine or something, I love to hit up something like the Vaughn's grocery store, buy the bottle of wine, bring it back to my room. If you think ahead and pack, you can bring a flask or a plastic tumbler, like a coffee mug, with a lid or whatever. That way, if it's the evenings, so for example, Friday evenings is Wanderings, which if you haven't heard about that, basically different people within the Craftcation community host these room parties in their hotel rooms at the Marriott. And you go to all the different room parties, and some of them will offer food or snacks or drinks, but you can also, think ahead and bring your own, whether you grab it from the bar, or whether you bring it. So something I like to do for that is go ahead and pack my own drink sometimes in a coffee mug or tumbler. That way I'm not worried about dealing with that, because it's a lot of fun to just go around, experience the different rooms, meet people, hang out. That way you're all set. So that's kind of the overview of tips as far as food and snacks go. There's also a lot of other restaurants all around downtown Ventura. Plenty of great recommendations. Search the Facebook community. I think they've got some stuff on the Dear Handmade Life website as well. Meeting people. Okay, so a conference, like the main thing that you want to do is meet people. Craftcation, I've made some amazing friends at Craftcation over the years. Some people that have turned into partnerships for events that we've done later. It's turned into jobs. It's turned into all sorts of opportunities. I once, a couple of years ago, gave a ride to Debbie Stoller, who was the keynote speaker. She's the co-founder of Bust magazine. Gave a ride to her after dancing my took-us off at the Saturday night dance party. And then all of that ended up spinning off into me getting a chance to write an article for Bust magazine about the work that I had done as a drag performer, which was freaking amazing. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and meet people at Craftcation. Now, okay, that said, I now identify as an ambivert, which means that sometimes I'm very extroverted and like to be around people and like to meet people and talk in front of people. But I also have my moments of deep introversion. I need to be alone by myself to recharge. For a long time, I thought of myself as an introvert, just that. And now I've realized I really like to be around people sometimes, but I need to balance it out. So be mindful about what you need, because we're all different. We're all built differently. And an event like this, especially if you're not used to going to conferences or if this is your first Craftcation, it can be a lot. And you'll be meeting a lot of people, which is really exciting, but it can also be really draining if you're not used to that environment. So keep a monitor on yourself about what you need. Check in with yourself, whether that's maybe you need to go back to your hotel room and take a nap and be alone for a couple of hours. Maybe that's going to take a walk on the beach. That's something I like to do when I have that moment of like, oh gosh, I need some alone time after all of this talking to everybody. I love to go down and take a walk down to the beach because we're just a couple of blocks away at the Marriott. There's a great state park by the beach. I've walked around there and there's all of these bunny rabbits. I think it depends on the year, maybe the time of year, if they're out and about. But last year there was all of these adorable bunny rabbits like hopping around just a block from the Marriott. It's amazing. So take care of yourself. Tips for meeting other people. Here's some other things that I've learned over the years. So if you're gonna get a lot of business cards, right? Here's a tip. Okay, so you get all these business cards. A couple of years ago, I don't remember who gave me this tip, but somebody at another conference had this idea. Grab a small notebook. This is actually one from Craftcation that I got in the swag bag a couple of years ago. So a simple little small notebook and some washi tape, which a lot of times this is included in your Craftcation swag bag. Not sure if it will be this year, but bring some of your own or some Scotch tape or whatever. So the idea is that as you get business cards throughout the event, go ahead and use the washi tape to tape them on a page inside your little notebook. And then you can write notes in this notebook about who that person is, what your conversation was about, what you want to follow up with them about. That way, when you get back to your room or your, back home a few days after the event, you're able to follow up. So that's a really big part of this, is making sure that you have a system to follow up with people after the event, to stay in touch with all these amazing people. You might find yourself connecting with people on your phones, hooking up on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever platform is relevant for you during the event. You might want to go ahead and just connect with them online during the event. But it can also be a really great to follow up post-event after everybody's kind of settled back in their lives. You might want to give each other a few days, but I like to go ahead and definitely follow up once I get back home within a few days to make sure that we're all still top of mind. I have a system now, because I've been doing this so long. I use what's called a CRM, a client or customer relationship manager, which is a piece of software. There's lots of different platforms. But I use that to keep track of all the different people that I meet and how I know them and all their contact information. But you can totally do a more simple version of this. Just get like a Google spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet and keep track of their name, their email, which social media platforms you're on, and some notes about how you met them, where you met them. Especially if you go to more conferences than just Craftcation, having some sort of system like that can be really good for following up with people and remembering like how to stay in touch. Here's some other quick tips. Everybody's super friendly, so even if you're shy or introverted, it's okay. You're gonna make friends. As long as you just let yourself be open to those experiences and having conversations with people, Craftcation is such an amazing experience. I've had some of the best moments hanging out late night in the lobby, having deep, long conversations with friends that I've made at Craftcation, out by the fire pit, out by the pool in the evenings. It's a fantastic experience. I saw some people in the Facebook group saying that this is their first Craftcation and they don't have businesses yet, right? If that's you, totally cool. Here's the thing, you get to make your Craftcation what you want it to be. It does have these kind of two sides. There's all of the craft conferences and the art classes and things, and then there's the business workshops. And you can go all one way or all the other, or a mix of those things. There's people that do any combination thereof, right? And there's also lots of other ways to connect with people just in those conversations. There's something called office hours that a lot of the presenters and speakers will sign up so that you can, once you get to Craftcation, there'll be a board with their time slots that they'll be available for these free 10 or 15 sort of mentoring coaching sessions. And you can see if there's any free time slots and put your name on and sign up for a time slot to talk to one of them. So that can be a great thing if you're early on in your business or you're trying to figure out some things to talk with one of the speakers or presenters one-on-one. So here's some travel and packing tips. You are gonna get a bag full of stuff. It's a little wrinkled because I've used it and washed it a bunch, but this is my swag bag from last year's Craftcation. Make all the things. You can see Craftcation, sponsored by Darice. So when you first register, you're gonna get an awesome swag bag full of a lot of cool supplies and craft products and all sorts of fun stuff. So you'll have that. Plus, if you do craft workshops, you'll be making things and you'll probably want to keep that with you. This is something to keep in mind when you're packing. Some people recommend they bring like a whole extra suitcase because they know they want to keep all of that stuff and they know that they're gonna make a lot of crafts and maybe buy some stuff in the pop-up shop, which is the cool, they turn one of the hotel rooms into a little shop with products from the different speakers and books and all sorts of cool stuff. So you might want to buy some stuff in there. Sometimes in those wandering rooms, people will have stuff for sale. So you can really go crazy and have a full suitcase worth of stuff to bring back home if that's your jam. If you're like me, on the other hand, and you're more of a minimalist and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with all this stuff? Don't worry. So towards the end of the conference, I think on Saturday maybe or Friday, there's a supply swap. So basically there's an area that's designated for you to go drop off any craft supplies that you wanna donate so that then you can trade and get other ones. If you just have too much stuff. Maybe you're going out of the country and you can't bring stuff back. The first year I went to Craftcation, I was immediately flying to Japan for 2 weeks on vacation. So I was like, I cannot bring all this stuff with me. I just dropped off all my extra swag and things that I picked up along the way that I couldn't bring with me, dropped them off at the craft supply, and then other people who do want that stuff, they're able to use it, right? So other packing tips. Again, I travel a lot to speak at different conferences and things, so I figured out some tips and tricks that work for me. One thing that I do is, I'm an Apple person, obviously. I got the iPad, I got the iPhone, I use a Mac. So I use the Notes app on my Apple devices to keep a checklist as a packing template. Because I travel so often, it's really helpful for me to have like, here's my template of a packing list. Here are the things that I might need on any given vacation or conference trip or whatever. And then I copy that over for each event. So I've already copied over my packing list for Craftcation and started editing that. So as I think of certain things like my drag costume that I need to bring to do karaoke, or I need to bring my costume that I'm gonna wear for the Saturday night dance party, I adjust that packing list for Craftcation. That way, when I actually have to pack to fly out to California for Craftcation in a couple of weeks, I don't have to rack my brain worrying about all of the things that I need to pack and worried that I'm gonna forget something, because I've been thinking about it for weeks and kind of just adding to that list. And since I use the Notes app and I have it on my phone, as I think of things, even if I'm out and about, I'm able to quickly edit it and just put them in as I'm thinking about it. So it's not like bugging me in the back of my brain the whole time. It's just the way my brain works. Another thing, I'm gonna show you some stuff. So there's a few things that I always try to bring with me to conferences or events. One of those things is my handy reusable water bottle, right? So it's 2020, California is not a water-rich place necessarily, and in general, I like to try to be eco-friendly and bring my own water bottle. Now, I prefer the taste of water out of a glass bottle, so this is a really great, I got this, Ello is the brand, I got this from Target, I've had a couple of these so far, and it's really great, easy to clean and wash, and the water tastes good out of it. So I always bring my water bottle with me. The other thing that I love for travel, and I actually figured this out right before my first Craftcation, right before I had to fly to Craftcation, hang out there, and then fly to Japan for 2 weeks. So I was gone for like 3 weeks with a very small suitcase, is these travel cubes. So there's a lot of different brands. I think I've seen them at Target, places like that, or you can go online like Amazon or wherever and search for travel packing cubes. And so they usually come in a set. So this is like one of the bigger size ones. So basically it's this like pouch that you can fold all your clothes into and then zip it up to kind of keep everything organized within your suitcase. This is such a lifesaver. It makes packing so much easier and so much more organized, both for packing and then while you're gone, kind of keeping track of which clothes are clean, which clothes are dirty, and all of that stuff. So good. I love travel cubes, y'all. So that's pretty much it. And also, don't forget to pack business cards if you have them. If you don't freak out. But now is the time to go ahead and order those things if you don't already have some, or if you want to make some in a super crafty way. I've seen some amazingly creative business cards at Craftcation. So I hope this helped. If you have any follow-up questions as a first-timer or as a multi-timer, feel free to comment, leave me a message somewhere. You can find me and more about my work at MalloryWhitfield.com. I'm also pretty much everywhere on social media as Mallory Whitfield. I also have a movement that I'm building, a social media movement called Towards Together. So Towards Together is all about inclusion and belonging and diversity and trying to make the world a kinder place. So I've created this one-person show that I do. I won't be doing it at Craftcation, but I do it, and I've created this social media movement around it. So the idea around the social media side of things is that we don't often talk about the ways in which we felt left out or the way that we felt judged by others. But I think that when we do that, when we have conversations and share, we start to realize how we've all had those feelings at some point, and we start to empathize with other people more. We start to see the humanity in other people more. So the idea is that you create a sign like this. Y'all are crafty people, so you can get creative with it. But you can also do a simple version. Just take like a Post-it note or a postcard or something and write #towards_together. Take a photo or a selfie with it. Share it on social media. Use the #towards_together and tag me, Mallory Whitfield, so I can see it. And in your caption, share a story about a time when you felt left out, or when you felt like you didn't belong. Maybe when you felt weird, or you felt like you weren't normal. Or when you felt judged by other people. Or when you felt like you had been judgmental towards somebody. Maybe you've had that realization and like regretted judging somebody. So the idea is to take these pictures, share those stories, and start more of these conversations so that we can see how alike we all really are in so many ways. We have these beautiful differences. Humanity is so diverse and rich and full of different types of people, different experiences. But we also have so many beautiful similarities because we're all human. We all have these emotions and these feelings that are so alike, but we just don't talk about them that much. So that's what I'm working on. You can find all of those instructions in more detail and more information about Towards Together at towardstogether.com. So I look forward to seeing all of you at Craftcation 2020. Bye!